London. These are this morning's top stories. Police confirm that the body found in Gyades Meadows is Shaquille Pemberton, and Wayne Chapman has been charged with the murder of Shirley Dawn Morton. Internationally, South Africans are blaming the government for a record water crisis, and in sport, Russian Paralympic athletes will also be banned from the 2018 Olympics. We have the details of these stories, weather and crime update now. Police are now well into investigating yet another mysterious death over the weekend. The body of 23-year-old Shaquille Pemberton was found in Gyades Meadows. His body was discovered by a passerby who reported it to the St. Kitts and Nevis Fire and Rescue Services. They in turn passed it on to the Royal St. Christopher and Nevis Police Force. Authorities have not yet indicated a cause of death or categorized Pemberton's passing. However, they have confirmed earlier word that there were injuries to his chest. Meanwhile, 52-year-old Wayne Spire Chapman over the weekend was charged with the murder of his girlfriend, 45-year-old Shirley Dawn Morton. The Box Hill Hanleys Road man was taken into police custody last Thursday, 4 days after Miss Morton's body was found in his home. After Chapman could not be found, police appealed to the public for assistance finding him, as at the time he was being considered a person of interest. Chapman, a diabetic, was discovered in Taylor's Pass to Gingerland on Thursday morning in need of medical attention. An autopsy carried out last Monday determined that Morton died as a result of brain injury caused by multiple blunt force traumas. This charge of murder against Chapman brings the country's official homicides for 2018 to 2. Meanwhile, coaches from the Departments of Sport in St. Kitts and Nevis are participating in a one-day workshop today at the St. Kitts Marriott Resort. The workshop is intended to sharpen the coaches' ability to identify cases of possible child abuse and provide assistance to the victims. The OECS Communication Strategy for Child Abuse in Sport is organized by the Organization of Eastern Caribbean States Commission and the United Nations Children's Fund. The launch of the communication strategy took place at the opening ceremony earlier this morning. Ahead of the workshop, the St. Kitts Director of Sport, Anthony Wilshire, said the Department of Sport has welcomed the training because of the close contact local coaches have with children on a daily basis. He added that the sport practitioners are faced with varying challenges when dealing with children. Having the ability to help identify problems and become a part of the solution is critical. Wilshire added that other information coming out of the training regarding maintaining professional interactions between sport officials and children is also important to avoid any form of inappropriate engagement, and also in identifying inappropriate interactions between children and others. During the workshop, participants will review topics including child protection versus child abuse, the review of child protection tests, and draft of a child protection plan. In international developments this morning, the South African city of Cape Town is facing its worst water crisis in a century, and protesters say the government is to blame. City officials have announced that a day zero situation where taps are expected to run dry will most likely happen on April 12th. Victoria Gettenby has more.
Anger on the streets of Cape Town over a water crisis these protesters say the government should have prevented.
The city is completely mismanaging the water. They're not fixing the leaks. They're not reducing the pressure in the pipes. They are rolling out water management devices that they know are defective, and they've got no plan. The springs, they're not allowing people access to, so they are strangling the water supply.
Reservoirs haven't been full for more than 3 years because there hasn't been enough rain. The city is limiting each household to 50 litres of water a day. That's equivalent to one full bath.
With 8 people in the house, up till now we've managed to bring our water consumption from 19 kilolitres per month. We brought it down now. Last month it was 8 kilolitres, and we are doing a little bit more in order to bring it further down to get it in line with the 6B restrictions that will come in on the 1st of February.
South Africa's water minister says climate change is to blame for the crisis. She's urging everyone to cut back their water use.
It is therefore important that all users play their part in reducing water consumption. The agricultural sector has made a commitment to make sure that they explore innovative solutions so that then there is adaptation to the realities of climate change.
City officials have already brought forward day zero, the date when taps are expected to run dry. That day is now April the 12th, 9 days earlier than previously expected. It appears that desperate measures to conserve water are having little effect.
In sport today, the ban on Russians competing at the 2018 Winter Paralympics has been upheld by the International Paralympic Committee, but Russian Paralympic athletes who can prove they are clean will be allowed to compete in the Pyeongchang as neutrals. Russia was banned from all Paralympic competition in August 2016 after details of state-sponsored doping. The decision comes after all but two of the key measures needed for reinstatement set out by an independent task force were met. The IPC said there is now a different picture in Russia compared to 2016, when the country's anti-doping system was found to be totally compromised, corrupt, and open to abuse. Making the announcement, IPC President Andrew Parsons said, although the RPC remains suspended, they have made significant progress and we have to recognize this. The IPC says as it expects 30 to 35 neutrals who meet strict criteria to compete in 5 of the 6 events: alpine skiing, biathlon, cross-country skiing, snowboard, and wheelchair curling. A Russian para-ice hockey team could not be considered as the country had missed the opportunity to qualify. On Saturday, the International Olympic Committee issued a similar invitation to 169 Russian athletes who can compete as neutrals at February's Winter Olympics. The Winter Paralympics begin in Pyeongchang, South Korea on Friday, 9th March. And now we take a look at this morning's weather forecast. Across St. Kitts and Nevis, conditions will remain partly cloudy to cloudy with occasional brief showers. Tonight will be partly cloudy with a moderate chance of a brief evening shower. Seas are very rough with heights between 10 to 14 feet or 3.14 to 3 meters. Warnings for small craft operators and sea bathers remain in effect against dangerous marine conditions, and mariners are advised to avoid the waters. Seas will begin to slowly subside by tonight. Winds are east to northeasterly at average speeds of between 17 to 23 miles per hour over land, increasing to an average of between 21 to 29 miles per hour over coastal waters, and elevated terrain and gusting higher in squally conditions, mainly over coastal waters today. The winds too will begin to subside tonight. The sea level pressure is 1,014.8 millibars or 29.96 inches. The sun will rise tomorrow at 6:28 a.m. and the sun will set today at 6:05 p.m. And that wraps up this morning's news presentation. Before we go, a recap of this morning's top stories. In national developments, the body found in Gyad's Meadows has been confirmed to be that of Shaquille Pemberton, and Wayne Spire Chapman has been charged for the murder of his girlfriend, 45-year-old Shirley Dawn Morton. Internationally, South Africans are blaming the government for a record water crisis, and in sport, Russian Paralympic athletes will also be banned from the 2018 Olympics. I've been your presenter, Ebony Brandon. Thanks for tuning in. Stay with us. Up next, Carib Update.